Hi ladies and gentlemen, my name is Pochilu Femwape, that boy from Mumbwa trying to make a difference. Welcome to yet another exciting episode of the Unfiltered Talkshow with Paul. As you can see, today we are not in our usual spot. Today we are at the Lovers Park, the famous Lovers Park here at Evelyn Horn College, where we are going to be having a conversation. The topic for today is being the difference that you want to see. Being the difference that you want to see. Without further ado, allow me to introduce to you my guest for today, Honorable Mwiza Banda. Sir, how are you?
I'm great, sir. Thank you. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. We just want to say thank you for having to create time. Just come and feature on our show.
It is indeed an honor to be here. Heard a lot about the great Paul from Mumba.
Actually, Mr. Mwiza over here has a page which is I Am the Difference. And me, I'm that boy from Mumba trying to make a difference. So we're having two differences here. There's one who is trying and the one who has already, who is actually
the difference.
Who is Mwiza Banda?
So in a nutshell, Mwiza Banda is a boy from Matero, not Mumba like you.
Yeah.
But yeah, Mwiza Banda is a boy from Matero, Lusaka. Grew up in the area, Zingalume. If you've heard of Matero, you would know Zingalume. A seasoned public speaker, a debater, debated at Evelyn Horn, was like the best debater last year. A man of a lot of hats, but most importantly, he's a disability rights advocate. That's all I can say for now. He's a disability rights advocate who is the difference, who is the change that he wants to see, He has championed disability rights through policy analysis, policy reviews, and implementations, from working with over 15 plus organizations in the last 5 years of my disability space. I've learned a lot, but in a nutshell, Mwiza Banda is a disability rights advocate who is the difference.
Guys, it seems I've been challenged. I've always felt I'm a man of a lot of hats, public speaker, debater, but it seems whatsoever that I do, he is also doing. So maybe tell us about the I Am the Difference. What did that idea come from?
Okay, so I Am the Difference, it came in, it's like a lived experience, you understand? So it came in when I was there, I was young. I remember I was having a conversation with my friend Patrick, very good friend and colleague of mine in the corporate space, even like friendship-wise. I was having a talk with my friend Patrick. We were staying together. He was my roommate at some point, and then I told him to say, it's really hard to see persons with disabilities and not, given the privilege to present and talk. I was actually in my first year, and I'm in my final year right now.
Yeah.
I'm pursuing a diploma in social work here at Evelyn Horn. So what Patrick told me, I told him about a certain lecturer of mine and all that, but it's a story for another day. So I told him to say, he told me actually, he was like, why do you want the lecturers to know that you're different when you can be the difference that you want the lecturers to see? So that triggered me. That was like in 2020, and then it triggered me. I was like, you know what? There's a lot I can do rather than a lot that I can't do. So I started focusing more on what I can do. I started, sharpening my public speaking skills, my debate, my research in disability rights advocate. I can quote the Persons with Disabilities Act number 6 of 2012. Yeah, lawyer by profession, certain acts and the like. So, I can somehow quote here and there some clauses because I've invested in being the change that I want to see. The value starts with me. So that's when I sat, and then I was like, I'm called sometimes differently abled, I'm different, I'm not the same as everyone else. But that shouldn't make me not be the change that I want to see. I am the difference, and the difference starts with me. I want when people are looking at me, they just don't look at someone with a disability, but they look at Mwiza Banda. The difference. He is the difference. He just doesn't have a disability. He's not typical. Like any person you'd meet with a disability, they're vulnerable. And they're like, I want you to meet Mwiza Banda, a man of class, a man of hope, a man of dignity, and a man of, a lot of heart to wear.
It seems the podcast has to be called to an end. It has ended, yeah? Because the topic for today is being the difference that you want to see. And I think from your explanation, you've answered everything. We have to say bye, ladies and gentlemen. See you in the next episode.
No, there's more to talk about.
If I may ask, in your way, of having to become the difference that you wished to see. You once wished to see the difference, and actually you are the difference currently.
Yes.
Just tell us about how has been the experience in you establishing yourself as the difference that you want to see.
Okay, it's been hard. It's been a lot of investments. It's been through a lot of counseling, lots of religious guidance. The process of being the difference actually started quite at an early stage. I think that was when I was very young. I was recognized at a certain show or at a certain program to say, this boy, in spite of being young, he can speak prominently, he can speak good English, I used to watch a lot of cartoons when I was young, so that's just the secret.
I'm always bragging about speaking very good English. Muiza is like the other side of me.
The mirror.
Yeah? Uh-huh.
Yeah, so, I've always been that guy who always loves English words here and there and the like. I cannot just say I've never failed an English test from the time I was born till now when I had my communication skills and all that.
I have one in English, by the way.
I have a one in English, by the way. This guy. Yeah, so I was recognized, this child, this kid, from my theory can speak prominently. So I was given a poem to speak about. It was about disability. I was very young. I used to go for physio by that time. So I was the youngest in the room. I've always been the youngest in the room. Always trying to make the difference while being the youngest in the room. So that's when the journey started, and then my mom started investing in me. Yes, I had some challenges, I had some trials and tribulations. I had to do with a lot of bullying growing up. Imagine being at a secondary school, you're the only kid with a disability there. And imagine all those pupils trying to look at you. You're always different. You're in class, you're different. You're just there, just feeling out of place and the like. So that really triggered me. We thank God to say, at some point in my life, I even had some suicidal thoughts, but I didn't go through. We thank God, because it was really hard to deal with, because at that time I was focusing on more, what, I can't do this, I can't play football. I love football, I'm a Manchester City fan. I can't play football, I can't run, I can't do everything that my friends are doing. So that used to hurt me to a point where I'm even starting to think suicidal and all those things. But then I realized, to say, I can't do this. That's spilled milk. I can't cry all night. But what can I do? That's when now, seeking guidance from my mom, from fellow persons with disabilities that were prominent, people I look up to. A man just doesn't grow. You have people that you look up to. Prominent figures, that are in the disability space, that have done great things, that have motivated me and inspired me. So I looked up to them, I talked to them, how do I do? I can't manage to do this. No, you can't. Just focus on this, focus on that. I have received a lot of mentors in my life for me to reach this stage in my life. I still have some mentors, but just growing up in general, I had a lot of discussions with a lot of people. I had to go to church a lot, and then being the difference actually started with me accepting the different person I am. I had to accept it fully. I had to have full acceptance from the bottom of my heart. Mr. Paul, let me tell you right now, if God had to come and tell me, Muiza Banda, we're going to remove your disability and you're not going to have a disability, I would refuse. That's the level of acceptance I have right now. I would refuse, because I've realized to say, just because I'm different doesn't mean I can't be the difference. I can't be the change that I want to see. There's a lot of things that I'm willing to do in spite of me having a disability. Now I'm thinking out there, everything's just going on very well. So what's the change? What can I do? What can I do right now that I can't do, that I have its ability? Understand?
I think this has reminded me of a certain book that I read when I was young. Those books that we were reading, Jelita and Mulenga, there was a certain book that we read that was written, Disability is not inability.
Exactly.
Yeah? And I think you are a living testament of that.
Yes.
You've actually defied the odds. I think we have to organize a very big speaker and pass around Lusaka, pass around the country, share a story, because most definitely, I've met a lot of young people that are disabled and feel that's the end of the journey. And if you can be able to have attained all these recognitions, one thing that I always tell young people, especially when I am out there and I'm prominently saying it, to say I'm a boy from Mumbo. I think you're able to tell that I have very good English.
Exactly.
Yes, I'm a boy from Mumbo, a rural area, but I'm able to articulate myself very well. That shows to say, if I can manage, there is that person from the village that can manage as well.
Exactly.
Right. So I hear you are the founder of an association called Ekodra. Tell us about it.
Okay, so ECODRA, which simply stands for Evelyn Horn College Disability Rights Association, is an association that was launched and established last year. It was an initiative that came through with the help of my friends, my co-founders, Mainza Lungu, Samson Piri, and Geoffrey Kamanga, my co-founders. And in spite of me being the lead founder, I didn't work on it alone. I had a group of people that believed in me. Some of them didn't have disabilities, but they believed in me. So it's an association that seeks to promote inclusion at Evelyn Horn College, at tertiary level of school for persons with disabilities. Because we've noticed to say, once someone is done with their grade 12, there's some institutions that don't accommodate persons with disabilities. Maybe because of the infrastructure, because of the policies that are being put in place, because of the narratives that are being said about persons with disabilities. So it's an association that was created trying to promote advocacy for persons with disabilities. So we have persons with disabilities that are students here. Then we sit down, we have some mentorship sessions with them. We sit down and discuss things, the challenges, evidence-based advocacy. We try to sit down and, okay, how's the sanitation problems? Want to include them in everything that's being done by the management of the institution. So ECODRA, I'm privileged to have been the founder and the president of it, but I didn't work on it on myself. I have a great board of executives and a great matron that's always there to just, push us to become better in everything that we do. And a great team of, people, the participants, the members itself, and everyone at the college at large. So we deal with, advocacy, we deal with sensitization, mobilization for persons with disability to participate in activities, college activities to be at large and the like. So, yeah, it's an association here and it's doing very well.
I think today for the first time, I'm interviewing someone who has challenged me. I've never felt this challenge. I was having a conversation with Patrick as we were coming, and he was telling me to say, I think the only difference between you and me is that you've been on a plane before, and I haven't been on a plane before. Yeah. So tell us about it. I heard you went abroad.
Ah, yes. It's like this guy wants to review all my hats now.
Yes, you went abroad. Tell us about it.
I went abroad. I had a privilege, as a disability rights advocate, a seasoned disability rights advocate who's worked with over 15 plus.
I'm a youth advocate, by the way.
Yeah, youth advocate.
Yes, certified youth advocate.
Certified youth advocate. We thank God.
Yes.
So, me going boarding a plane rather was in September, October last year, summer last year, around this time, October, September. So I was recommended by a certain organization, I won't disclose their name. It recommended me to be part of the program by the European Union. So they told me to send my CV in, and then I was called in for some interviews. So the interviews were online. So I was being interviewed by some French people that were online and stuff. So we said ourselves, with the English that we have. And then the interviewers were impressed with my deliverance of what I was articulating. And then I was selected for a program. It's called the Africa Europe Youth Academy. It's a program facilitated by the European Union and the African Union to promote sustainable development for countries in Africa. So I was selected to be a board member, a youth advisory board member. And then they had to launch the program in Dakar, Senegal, East Africa. That's where they had invited the board members to be part of it. That's how I found myself in Senegal, and then I actually represent Zambia on an international level, a representative of Zambia, representative for persons with disabilities, and I'm the only Zambian out of the 6 board members seated, and we sit down, discuss, we advise
the only Zambian, let's get it clear, the only Zambian, yes?
The only Zambian. Yeah, because we have people from Nigeria, Congo, South Africa, and the like, and there were only six youths that have challenged the odds in their specific countries and the like. So we've worked on that, and honestly, I thank God for the journey. It has added on to the CV, to the accolades of things that we are able to achieve.
You know, I personally, if today I was to have the privilege or a opportunity to go abroad, and I'll tell my parents to say, Nienda kokchalo, most definitely they would tell me to say, ah, bana kuskama. Weren't you scared?
I was scared. At first, I was scared. I was like, is this happening? You know, I didn't believe it not until they told me to say, send us a copy of your passport.
You had the passport by that time?
Should I bring that up right now? Or should I say God has been faithful? So, you know, I never had the passport. So I was doing these interviews, right? Then they asked me, say, supposedly we pick you for the program. Do you have a passport and are you willing to go abroad? And then, you know, as a debate, as a public speaker, you can't say no. What if the opportunity comes? I said yes.
Yeah.
My brother, I said yes, confidently. I said yes, my passport is expiring after 10 years. Oh, okay, well and good. Mind you, I never had a passport. So when they reached out to me saying, want a copy of a passport, I was stuck. But it's through God's grace, when I went to the passport office, it only took me 2 days. The first day I went to explain to the chief passport officer, saying, I'm supposed to go abroad, I don't have a passport, I lied. The second day my passport was out. God, what God can do, no man can undo. So my passport came out in 2 days. I had my passport ready, everything. I sent it, and then everything was just happening, you know. They reached out to me, no, your transport will be ready for you to take you from where you are to the airport. I'm like, is this happening? You know, I couldn't believe it, not until...
Take you from where you were to the airport?
To the airport.
Yeah?
And coming back again when I'm back from Senegal.
What car was it? Maybe just share with us. What
was the V8? It was those big white ones.
Yeah?
Those big
V8
something.
Yeah.
It had the EU number plates there.
Yeah.
So yeah. It was the European Union that was facilitating everything, so they had provided transport for me. It was on the weekend, but they still provided transport for me to go to the airport. Then when I was back, the driver was already waiting for me here in Zambia. So,
how it was for how long? How long did you spend abroad?
I spent there about 2 weeks, a week or so.
Yeah?
Yeah, because like it's in East Africa, it's a lot of hours of traveling because we had to move in transit.
That was your first time having to be on a plane.
My first time having to be on a plane.
How was the experience? Kindly, you know, I'm seeing myself catching flights.
So not feelings.
Yes, I'm seeing myself catching flights. So just tell me, advise me, how was the feeling and how was the experience?
The feeling was amazing. The feeling was unreal. You know, it was scary. I couldn't believe it. I was like, what if these people scam me midway? I get there and then there's no one. But I just believed in God and I believed in His power. Then, honestly, the experience was amazing. But please, Mr. Po, this year you're traveling, I know that.
Yeah.
When I was traveling, I was smart like you.
Yeah.
People have slippers on. And now I'm there, me with my shoes, they're burning me. That's one lesson I learned to say, why? You know, I was traveling. I was like, okay, I'm going to be in a plane.
Yes.
I'm going to be in a plane, and then I need to look smart. You know, I wore very nice clothes, and then, you know, I had the necktie on. Gosh, people are getting into the plane there. They have their slippers, shorts, and everything. Now I'm there feeling out of place. But overall, it was a great experience, and first time traveling, I didn't know. No one warned me to say you can even walk with slippers by airport. You know.
Ladies and gentlemen, today I'm so happy. You know, I'm so happy and motivated. I've learned quite a lot of things while having a talk with Mr. Muiza here. You know, there's always been this long-standing quote or saying that says, when opportunity meets you preparing, it's a miss. But when opportunity meets you prepared, it's a plus. I highly advise young people to make sure to say you are the difference that you wish to see. Mr. Muiza, I was checking your socials, yeah? And I saw to say there are quite a number of organizations that you've worked with, okay? A lot of young people want to work with organizations, but you find to say maybe 2 months or 3 months into trying, they're just we'll get back to you, and they give up. But how have you penetrated the industry? How have you managed to have a lot of organizations work with you?
Okay, so how I've managed to, you know, penetrate through the industry, the corporate space rather, it started first with adding value to myself. You know, they won't recognize you not until you recognize what you're doing yourself. What do you have? What are you bringing on the table? You know, so I did a lot of personal research. I read a lot about these organizations, and then I looked at the gaps. You know, it's always about finding a niche. Find out why they should involve you in what they're doing. Bring it to their attention, saying, you guys don't do this, and this, and how we can do it is we can do it like this. And for me to say further, engage me. You understand? So you research about them, you look at the gaps. What space are you in? There's always a piece of cake for someone to eat at that table. What space are you in? Are you into mental health? Are you into specifically youth? Are you into women? Are you into youth with disabilities? Research on that. You know, once you are doing your research in that area of thinking and the like, you look at the gaps that these organizations are overseeing or overlooking. Are they too little? Can they be worked on and the like? And then also, once I got like, it always starts with one organization, one person you know, and then through that you grow a network. You sell yourself. How do you sell yourself? The first impression you give a certain organization will determine whether they're going to call you back or not. They might not call you, but they will refer you to another organization. So I worked with a lot of organizations through references, through recommendations. Imagine I traveled to Senegal without even paying for anything. Through a recommendation.
How was the food there, by the way?
The food was spicy.
Yeah?
Yeah, I know. A lot of rices. Apparently they have 13 different types of rices there.
Their own bed.
Their own bed,
Was
their
there
own
Wi-Fi
room.
there?
My brother, entered the TV, turn it on, says welcome Mwiza Banda. I was like, okay, do I need to go back? Room service, you call away, cappuccino, coffee.
Cappuccino, baby. Yeah.
Yes, so through referrals and recommendations. So they always come in to say, okay, this person, we see value in them, but we can't involve them in this project. But there's an organization that needs them. Let's recommend them. It always starts with a recommendation. One recommendation will birth the other one, By the time you realize you've worked with a lot. So it all starts with taking advantage of the opportunity. Take advantage of what you have. You are a youth. Use that to your advantage. You're a tech guy. Use that to your advantage. You're a lawyer, you're a public speaker. Use that to your advantage, because that's your currency. Because if you just sit there stagnantly waiting to say, no, they're going to call me and the like, my friend, you have to wait forever. But if you can use what you have, I saw my disability as the ability to be the difference. I just didn't sit down there and just be like, no, I have a disability, I can't do anything. Yes, I have a disability, and I'm sure to say these spaces, these places, these whatever, these policies, these laws have been implemented, are reviewed, they're inclusive. I always question, say, why isn't this inclusive for persons with disabilities? Your policy says this, why doesn't it say anything about persons with disabilities? It says about women. How about women with disabilities? So what do you have to do with that? They'll be like, okay, this guy is going somewhere. Let's invite them for a consultation. What they actually think about this, So that's how you work through. It's all about strategy. Yeah. So once you're just strategically positioning yourself, positioning who you're talking to, what you're following on social media really matters as well. Social media will create an algorithm for you to say, okay, you follow a lot of current affairs. It will bring opportunities for you related to that space that you're in. So whatever you're following, whatever you're watching, whoever you're talking to really matters,
Ladies and gentlemen, it has indeed been a very wonderful conversation with Mr. Mwiza Banda. Okay, I feel we have to have a part 2.
Definitely.
Yes, we have to have a part 2, because I think there's quite a number of things that we haven't talked about. But I'll leave up to you, the lovely viewers that are watching. Yeah, comment if we need another episode of Mr. Banda to come and educate us more. Mr. Banda, I just want to say thank you once more.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I think I've been educated. I've been educated, and I believe to say these minutes that we've spent together. They say a 1-minute conversation with a man is way more valuable than what you learn in 3 years.
Exactly.
Yes. So one thing I'm going to tell you is there's a tradition how we get to end our podcast. So basically, Mr. Mwiza Banda, you're on social media. Your story has been shared on a lot of platforms. And most definitely, one thing I'll tell you for a fact is there are people that look up to you.
Yes.
That's why they say we must never give up. If we give up, we disappoint a lot of people. So, Mr. Mwiza Banda, someone is watching you currently. What word of encouragement or advice would you give to that young person, young woman, young man, young girl, young boy who is watching you currently and looks up to you? What word of encouragement would you give to them about being the difference that they want to see?
Okay, so one word of encouragement, it's a saying I came up with myself, saying the possibility is possible. You know, if there's a way in, there's a way out of things, and whatever you're trying to, whatever idea you have going on in your head, start it right now, because it starts so little that by the time it grows, you won't realize. So whatever you're going through, it has its bright side to it, and the possibility is possible. Even a 1% chance is a possibility for you to do something in 100%.
What? Ladies and gentlemen, once more, my name is Pochilu Femwape, that boy from Mumbwa trying to make a difference. I'll allow Mr. Muiza just to say his introduction and also add, I am the difference. Yes, sir.
My name is Mizo Banda, public speaker, debater, proud social work student, and my name is Mizo Banda. I am the difference.
Muiza has competition within him. Hi, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Pochilu Femwape. I'm a public speaker, certified youth advocate, debater. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Do make sure to say you continue following, sharing, liking, and commenting. God bless.